Good morning. We're going to call our meeting to order this morning. Good morning. We're going to call. Good morning. We're going to call our meeting to order this morning. Good morning. We're going to. Well, we called the meeting to order. That's for sure. Colleagues, before we get started, I want to apologize in advance to each of you. I'm going to have to leave early because of some travel arrangements that I have, but you'll certainly be in the very capable hands of our Vice Chair, Mr. Shorty. Also, from a housekeeping standpoint, we are going to, without objection, take up the Personnel Affairs Committee first. At this time, we will have our invocation, which will be brought to us by Pastor Robertson of the historic Camphor Memorial United Methodist Church of Scotlandville. Pastor Robertson.
Good morning. Good morning. Let us pray. Gracious and loving God, who has given us each a rare opportunity to serve you in our own capacities. God, we ask for the strength of the people united under this system, God, to give guidance and oversight. Take the resources that are necessary and God, make them have increase. We ask, loving Father, to continue to bless each of us as we seek out your will and your way. So God, as we conduct the business here, we ask for your blessings. This we ask in the darling Son, Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pastor Robertson, thank you so much for being here with us this morning. And Dr. Renee has a nice little care package for you. And we pray the Lord's blessings on you as well as your ministry and the Camphor family. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our Pledge of Allegiance, Dr. Whitfield, do we have a student here this morning? Well, will you lead us in the pledge?
Of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We thank Dr. Whitfield for leading us in the pledge. Dr. Whitfield, do you have any family here that you'd like to recognize with you for having?
Not today.
That's what we would do with the students, so I just didn't want to sell you short.
Not today. Not today.
Now we will recognize Mr. Gilliam for our Personnel Affairs Committee.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. It is so good to see so many of you here this morning. And just observing, it's been so long since we've been back in our usual meeting place, Mr. Chairman. I had to remember which floor that we were supposed to come to. So it's so good to be back in the old meeting place. The Personnel Affairs Committee is hereby called to order. And we'll ask, Mr. President, if you would please give us a roll call.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Mr. Gilliam.
Present.
Reeves. Mr. Ptolemy. Present. Dr. Tarver. Here. Dr. Whitfield. Here. Attorney Rutledge.
Here.
You have a form.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. The next item on our agenda is the adoption of the agenda from our previous meeting. And what is your pleasure?
So
it's been moved and second that the agenda from, or the minutes rather, from our, excuse me, I'm going wrong. The adoption of this current agenda is thus moved and approved. Those in favor, let it be known by sign of aye.
Aye.
Okay. So ordered. The agenda is thus adopted. The next item on the agenda calls for public comments. Anyone wishing to make public comments regarding anything on the Personnel Affairs Committee agenda, would you please move toward the podium at this point? Seeing no one approach the podium, we will move on to our action items. And we have item 5, action items. We have items A through F. And again, dear committee, what is your pleasure? Mr. Dr.
action items 5A through F.
I second.
It has been moved and second that we would approve 5IA through F in global. Those in favor, let it be known, please, by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. Hearing none. These agenda items are thus adopted. Thank you very much, committee. We move now to item number 6. This is other business.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. President,
may I have the opportunity to make a statement?
you may indeed, Mr. President.
Mr. Chairman and the honorable members of this board, again, a good morning to you. I have the great pleasure this morning to be accompanied by my better half, Norma Belton, the First Lady of the Southern University A&M College System. It's been a while since she's shared a presence with me. I was wondering if you would be so kind as to acknowledge her. We rise this morning simply to offer a statement of appreciation in keeping with the long-standing support that you have provided to us and afforded to us in terms of providing an opportunity for us to serve our alma mater. As you may be aware, I've had the opportunity to engage with Southern University for just short of 35 years and have served as the CEO for 20 consecutive years. And so today I come before you, give an indication of my decision after much deliberation to not seek a contract renewal, and in fact, to inform you of my intent to retire in the early fall of 2022. Admittedly, I toyed with the thought of continuing this journey. But I have to tell you, in reflecting on what originally prompted me to seek the role of president and chancellor, I was I was reminded of what brought me here. And it wasn't obviously to establish a career, nor to advance career opportunities. It was simply to define measures that would enable me to contribute in any way, in such a way as to provide for a stronger foundation for Southern University and A&M College, and to position it, if you will, such that we will continue to be seen as a premier institution amongst the higher education community. You know, upon reflection, and if we're talking about the here and now, I actually believe that we've accomplished that. We have enjoyed record enrollment for the last 4 years and have established policies that open the doors of Southern University again. And I think this semester, our enrollment will be even more significant. We have stabilized the fiscal integrity of all the campuses within the Southern University system. All of the campuses as well have been successful in achieving a reaffirmation of accreditation, with the exception of one, and that campus is poised to do so in December. We have already begun a number of capital outlay projects, and efforts are underway that promises to transform the landmass of Southern University at Baton Rouge. I think you all would agree that our fundraising has been stellar and the highest rate of giving in the history of Southern University at present. Even the athletic department is now poised for a championship year after having now been removed from probation, where all 15 of our programs are eligible for postseason play. And finally, we have now a strategic roadmap, if you will, that ultimately will provide for us to shape and define students such that they would be competitive in this global marketplace. I have to tell you, I'm really proud of all of those things, but I also recognize that it did not happen in a vacuum. We've benefited from alumni, advocates, supporters, and friends. But I can tell you this, is that there's been one constant, notwithstanding all the support that we've had, and that constant has been this board. And I'm gonna say that again. Nothing to which we could have possibly achieved, it would not have happened if not for this board. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to publicly acknowledge your exceptional leadership. I have, and excuse me, and again, I wanted to acknowledge the depth to which I am in admiration for the unselfish commitment of all members of this board. I have said to you, maybe privately, and in some cases publicly, that from my vantage point, I believe this board has matured. And I think as I reflect upon my colleagues across this country, I think they would be envied in keeping what we have as a board here in Baton Rouge. You have certainly earned the public's trust. And so I want to again thank all of you, if you will, for your confidence and your support and the friendships that have been established and I hope will be everlasting. I also want to thank the chancellors for their leadership. You know, they make all of our jobs easy. They are ultimately responsible, but I have to tell you that I have enjoyed the opportunity of working with them and witnessing their good work. It's important for me also to recognize our faculty, staff, and students. Our faculty are hardworking, and I tell you, they have weathered the storm for years. We've made some progress in kind of moving the needle with regard to their salary, but by no means are we where we need to be even now. But they have worked collaboratively with this administration, and we still have work to be done. And certainly as it relates to our faculty, looking at some equity matters across the campus, which will be, again, a priority for this administration, even going forth. Our staff is the lifeblood of the university, and they serve humbly, but with a great deal of dedication. You don't hear much of them, but I want to acknowledge the likes of the Vickies, the Charmaines, the Kims, the Graylands that occupy our offices across the Southern University system. And you know of the talent that we have amongst our senior administrators. They come and present, but I'm exceptionally proud of the team to which we have established and the level of commitment that they have given to Southern University. I didn't want to call any names, but I will call this guy's name because he's been with me for 20 years, and that is my colleague and friend, Ben Pugh. We understand and have on many occasions spoke about what it means to be friendships while at the same time maintaining boundaries along the way. But certainly he has been an advisor and a colleague, and I want to express my appreciation publicly to him. And then last but not least, I wanted to thank my wife, Norma, for her patience and support. I would argue that Norma has really forsaken her career to be with this guy. But I think at this time, the kids are celebrating, and we are clearly looking forward to transitioning to a life beyond higher education. She still continues to bug me about what I'm going to be doing after this. And I'm telling her whatever I want to do. So let me say this. This is a good day. I've been truly blessed. You know, I want to thank the Lord for his grace and mercy and for walking with me through this journey. We, again, still have a lot of work to do. You should anticipate that we will come to work every day and do the work of Southern University. And I close, I was driving up this morning, I was just reflecting on an event, and I share it with you at this time. You know, 35 or 34 years ago, a day before I first the day before I was employed full-time at Southern University, I had the occasion to meet the chancellor of that campus at the time. And I guess he had a policy or position where he wanted to meet every employee prior to them actually assuming their roles at the university. And I went to his office and we spoke for about 30 minutes. And as you know, there was some question whether or not I even wanted to be there. But anyway, we spoke for about 30 minutes. And at the end of that conversation, I stood up and I said, thank you for the opportunity. And I come full circle now. And I just want to say to you that I have been honored, clearly honored, to be afforded this opportunity to serve. And again, I want to thank this board for the opportunity to do so. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman,
President, before, I'm sorry, sir.
may I have a word, Mr.
I
Chairman?
was going to go first, but I will defer naturally.
Thank
Mr.
you,
Chairman.
because I've just got to leave. But Dr. Belton, you and Mrs. Belton have represented this institution with a tremendous amount of grace and dignity. And this morning is certainly no different. We are indeed indebted to you for the many years of service and commitment that you've demonstrated to higher education in general, but to the Southern University system in particular. As chairman, I've had the distinct pleasure of working very closely with you over the past 2.5 years. And I've seen your decision-making process reflective of the best interest of the institution, as well as keeping the students a priority. As a proud son of Southern, I've seen you work tirelessly to enhance the enterprise and our brand. And I believe that you will leave an institution in much better shape than you found it. And I know I speak for the entirety of the Southern University Board, family, wherever they might be, when extending to you our very well wishes as you transition into a very well-earned retirement. Thank you, and God bless you and Mrs. Belton.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Belton, I would like to add to what the chairman has just stated. I'd like to acknowledge again the role, the contribution that you made to the university throughout the years. And I have to let everyone know, of course, I have known Dr. Ray Belton and Norma for a long time. He's the son of Southern University in Shreveport. And I can remember when he was thinking about even going off to graduate school. He came to me and he asked what I thought. He asked for my advice. And of course, I encouraged him, and he went up to Kansas, I believe it was, University of Kansas. Got his first degree there. When he came back, he asked, he wanted to go on and pursue his terminal degree. And again, he asked my thoughts. And of course, he went on down to the University of Texas, where he worked under the tutelage of the esteemed Dr. Roche, I believe his name was.
Yes.
Not with us now, but he was esteemed as one of the finest minds in higher education administration in the country. Ray went there, and I digress, Ray. I've known him that long. And then, of course, he decided that he was interested in this position as president of Southern University. And again, he came and he asked my thoughts. I said, well, you know, I had to wonder at the time, why would anybody even want to do it? I maybe even ask him that way.
Right.
But he has a love and he has a compassion for the university. And of course, I suggested to him, he said, not only that, he said, I'd like for you to write a letter of recommendation for me. I said, well, Ray, I had just come off the board of supervisors in 2006, I believe, or so. I said, well, Ray, I don't think a letter of recommendation for me would do any good, Mr. Chair, because I had a reputation like JR on Dallas, you know, the man that most people love to hate. I said, I just can't see it doing you any good, but I want you to do it anyway. So I wrote him a letter of recommendation, and of course, he's here. I could say more about Ray, but we are immensely proud, Ray, you and Norma, and your family,
That's right.
the contribution and the sacrifices that you all have made. We'll go even further. You know, he was a student here at Southern. A lot of people don't realize it. He has a distinction, I think, of having a perfect academic average, 4.0. So he's a scholar. I'll tell you something you don't probably know, and I'll close. He was also a football player at Fair Park. Now get this. This is going to stump you. He was a lineman. Fairly decent one at that. So he's gone full scope. He's broad. I say this, our prayers, our thoughts go with you and Norma. And I know that you and Norma and your family have not reached this decision lightly. I know you've reached it proudly. I know you've reached it thoughtfully. And again, our prayers are with you and your family.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, before I leave, might I indulge upon the board for a group photograph with us and Dr. Belton and Mrs. Belton? Can we do that now? Thank you.
Okay. Go back. Got to get our chairman out of here for his flight. Okay. All right. We're still at item number 6. Is there further or other business to be brought before this committee? Okay. We have done. I have a motion for adjournment and a second. The Personnel Committee is thus adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your indulgence. Ms. Shorty, it's all yours.
Turn the meeting over to Ms. Ann Smith for the Academic Affairs Committee.
Thank you. Academic Affairs Committee meeting is called to order. Roll call, please. Dr. Johnson.
Yes. Mrs. Smith,
Present.
Dr. Tarver, Dr. Davis, Mr. Gilliam,
Present.
Mr. Lawson, Ms. Reeves.
He's here.
You have a quorum, madam.
Thank you. Adoption of agenda. Motion, please. It has been moved and second. Any opposition? Motion carries. Public comments? None. We have one action item. A, request approval to establish the Legal Analytics Institute for the Southern University Law Center. Can I get a motion? Second. Discussion? None? Okay. All in favor, let it be known by aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Other business? None. Motion for adjournment. Moved and second, we're adjourned.
So expeditious. Now we move to the Facilities and Property Committee. Dr. Whitfield?
I'd like to call the Facilities and Property Committee meeting to order, please. Can I get a roll call vote, Mr. President?
Yes, sir. Dr. Whitfield,
Present.
Ms. Williams, Ms. Bartholomew, Mr. Hilliard, Mr. Lawson, Dr. Tarver. You have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda, adoption of the agenda. Can I get a motion? It has been moved and properly second. With no objections, we'll move on and adopt the agenda. Are there any public comments pertaining to the agenda, Facilities and Properties Committee? Hearing none, we'll move to the informational item 5, Facilities Planning Project Updates. And Mr. Pitts will comment on that first, and we'll make some additional comments after you, Mr. Pitts.
Sure. Good morning. This is very much an update. All of the items that have been submitted are in progress. I want to start by each campus. For Southern University Baton Rouge campus, the STEM building will be on the Architectural Selection Board meeting this coming Wednesday. The sewer lift station, I just attended the Engineering Selection Board meeting this past Wednesday, and that was awarded to a company called Owen and White. So the engineering design for our lift station will begin immediately. On the Baton Rouge campus, you'll see some of the beautification efforts. I hope you guys pass through the front gate and notice that our signs have arrived and our flowers are planted, and we look like a real entrance to a campus. And that was Dr. Belton's idea and vision that we have brought forth. Also, a lot of construction will be happening near the stadium. Our drainage project has started. I have 50% design submittals. That's enough to get the contractor started. And also the pavement of the parking lot right there at the stadium. And we'll end with the pavement of the perimeter road around the mini dome. Shreveport, there's a Collier building. All of the money is in place. I met with the engineering guys to do a program and the architect to do a program for that building. I just received all of the probable costs. And so that will be on Architectural Selection Board in September and Engineering Selection Board in September as well. FP&C will run that project. I checked into 2 things that you mentioned before. That was filling in that basement area. We have a project number for that, and we're going to waterproof it versus filling it in. And also, your elevators are working in that downtown building. New Orleans, the only thing on the New Orleans agenda was ADA bathrooms, and FPNC hadn't received the program, so I'm working on that now. So that will be in front of the Architectural Selection Board in September as well. And also, I met with their chief of police. There's some gate entrance issues that they want addressed, and we have deferred maintenance money to do that. So I assured them of that, and I'll be back in New Orleans in about 2 weeks. And that's the update. Are there any questions?
Hearing no questions or comments, again, a lot of things that we have on facilities and properties are in progress. Morris, we thank you for your diligence in moving these things forward.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. We'll move to any other business regarding facilities and properties. Hearing none, I move for adjournment of the meeting. So moved and properly second. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Whitfield. Now we move to the Finance Committee. Dr. Tarver?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. President, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Dr. Tarver,
Here.
Mr. Lawson, Mr. Gilliam, Mr. Hilliard, Attorney Shorty,
Present.
Dr. Whitfield. You have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. May we have a motion to adopt the agenda? Been moved and seconded. Adopt the agenda. All of those in favor, let it know on the sign of aye.
Aye.
So have it. Any public comments at this time on any agenda item? Hearing none, we move to action item 5A, request approval of online graduate and undergraduate tuition and fees as SUNO.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
if it's the wishes of the chair and this body, I move that we approve item number 5A and B in global.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve items 5A and B in global. All of those in favor, let it know on the sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So have it. Item other business, number 6. Any other business at this time? None? May I have a motion to adjourn? Been moved, seconded? Meeting's adjourned, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Dr. Tarver. Now we'll move on to the Governance Committee. Mr. Lawson.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Item number 1, call the Governance Committee to order. Mr. Secretary, will you call the roll?
Yes. Mr. Lawson,
Present.
Attorney Shorty,
Present.
nominee, Mr. Gilliam, Dr. Tarver.
Here.
You have a quorum, sir.
Okay. Item number 3, adoption of the agenda.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Seconded.
It's been properly moved by Mr. Dr. Tarver, properly seconded by the Vice Chair. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Agenda has been adopted. Item number 4, any public comments relevant to the adopted agenda? Anyone approach the podium? We'll go to item number 5, action items. I'll entertain a motion for those items to be approved in global, if that's the wishes.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
You have heard the motion, properly made and seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye. Those motions are carried. Item number 6, any other business needs to come before the Governance Committee? If not, item number 6, it's moved, properly second. We adjourn. Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair.
Thank you, sir. We're going for a record today. Call to order the meeting of the Southern Board of Supervisors. Can I get a roll call, Dr. Belton?
Yes, sir. Mr. Vice Chair, Attorney Shorty,
Present.
Mr. Bartholomew, Dr. Davis, Mr. Gilliam,
Present.
Mr. Hilliard, Mr. Lawson, Mrs. Smith, Dr. Tarver, Mr. Gerald, Dr. Whitfield, Ms. Williams. You have a quorum, sir.
Thank you, sir. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda? And second? I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? The motion is, the agenda is adopted. Are there any public comments? Any public comments? Seeing none, we're going to move on to our special presentations, our Above and Beyond Award. Dr. Williams? Do we have it? Who's
is
doing
that?
that?
Dr. Sahu, if you will.
Sorry, sir.
Good morning, sir. Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, Chancellor, members of the board, and members of our august Southern family. Our President Chancellor rightly a few minutes ago said that the staff is the lifeblood of this university, and he recognized the dedication, the sincerity and the dedication of the staff. Today, I have the distinct honor to recognize somebody who is lifeblood for me. This body won't move professionally without her assistance, and somebody who is an exemplary employee. But what today she's being recognized is truly over and beyond. During the last 2 years, during the pandemic, somebody who has really excelled in terms of believing in and supporting the mission of this university. She's first to come, last to go, where I have to sometimes threaten her that you'll have to pay rent if you stay beyond 5 o'clock or 5:30. But somebody who, we worked half staff in the sense that Dr. Ammons was deputed to New Orleans, and then we had 2 successive, retirements. So with that, the person who kept us together, or the persons who kept us together, is our staff. And today I have the opportunity to introduce to you and to recognize the stellar contribution, exemplary and over and beyond contribution of Ms. Regina Netter Thomas, who serves as Executive Assistant in Administrative Affairs.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is so unexpected. But thank you, Dr. Sahu, for recognizing that I have been above and beyond. And I want to thank everybody in this room for supporting me. Oh my God. It's a wonderful thing working with people that believe in you, and all of you do. So thank you again.
Members of the board, let's go on up.
Could you refer to Ms. Williams now?
Yes,
For
certainly.
the introduction of the president.
Now we're going to move to Dr. Williams to introduce our 2021-2022 Presidential Fellows.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vice Chair and members of the board. Good morning to everyone. We are very excited to introduce to you our inaugural cohort of our Presidential Fellows. We started off with more than 40 applicants, and we had a wonderful committee that was able to minimize that to the top 10. And so this morning, we're going to introduce to you those top 10, but of course, this would not be made possible if it were not for the support of President Belton, of this board, and Dr. Tarver, who provided a lot of guidance along the way. We'd also like to thank some of the other folks who were instrumental in getting us to this process, one of which is Ms. Tandra LeMay, if she would stand, please. Ms. LeMay is from Verizon, and they provided our monetary contributions for this program to be made possible. So we are very grateful to Verizon and the partnership that we have and the partnership that we will have in the future. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Segura, who has been my partner in crime, if you will, in making sure that all of these efforts went off without a hitch. And he's going to make a couple of comments before we power off our inaugural class of our Presidential Fellows. Dr. Segura.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Williams. Mr. Chairman, in his absence, to each of you, the honorable members who serve well on the governing board for our system, to our President and Chancellor, Dr. Belton, campus heads, Dr. Sahu, I rise with great excitement and extreme delight to reveal some of the best and brightest students on the Baton Rouge landmass. Because of our investments through this program, these students are destined to be the next generation of leaders. This program will catapult their growth exponentially and certainly add strength and value to their academic and professional journeys. I would like to sincerely thank those champions who served on the selection committee, to include former president and current member of the board, Dr. Leon Tarver, that distinguished dean from the Nelson Mandela College, Dr. Damian Ijigiri, Dean Cynthia Bryant from the College of Humanities and Interdisciplinary Studies, Dr. Jana Snowden from Southern University's Ag Center, Dr. Anthony Jackson from the Division of Student Affairs, and certainly to Ms. Kim Butler, who unselfishly committed significant time and value to advance this goal. Certainly, we laud you, Dr. Belton and Dr. Williams, for your leadership and your vision for this project. And last, but certainly not least, to where some of the money came from, Verizon Wireless, we thank you. I must admit, selecting this group was a mountainous task. Each candidate exemplified the essence of what we were seeking: scholarship, leadership, and stewardship. Again, this was no easy feat. However, in keeping with the goal, I am pleased to submit to you the champions that will represent our great institution as the inaugural cohort of Presidential Fellows on the Baton Rouge campus. Mr. Wilson, without further ado, would you kindly share with all assembled the video revealing the 10 newest investments in this administration's portfolio?
about a round of applause for our slate of presidential fellows? We are so very excited. This is a year-long journey that we are getting ready to embark upon, and we assure you they are some of our best and brightest. And so you all will get to meet them in the very near future. And we're not only going to utilize them in the capacity of being a fellow, but you will also see them volunteering around campus and being of service for things that we have here on the campus within the administration and the Board of Supervisors. So again, thank you guys so much for your indulgence, and thank you again. Oh.
I mean, that's a voice you could listen to all day. All right, move on to action items. With your indulgence, I'd like a motion to take action items A, B, and C together. Can I get a motion? All in favor? Any opposed? So moved. Action items A, B, and C are approved. Action item D. Council,
We've asked that be tabled for now.
that's what I thought.
And we'll bring that
We're gonna
back up.
table action item D.
Please, H, actually.
We have a motion to approve E, F, G, and H. Can I get a second? So moved and properly second. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? The action items carry. We can move on to action item I, our resolutions.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Our July 2021 resolutions are as follows. To the family of Mrs. Michelle Dion Jordan Cummings, we send our sincerest condolences. Ms. Michelle Cummings was a native of Monroe, Louisiana, and a resident of Houston, Texas. Michelle was a proud Southern University Jaguar and thoroughly enjoyed any opportunity to be with the Jaguar Nation. She received her bachelor's degree in computer science in 1986 and was inducted into the Alpha Tau chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated at Southern University. She passed away on June 29th, 2021. Our condolences also to the Dr. Frederick Stephen Humphreys family. Dr. Frederick Stephen Humphreys Sr. of Orlando, Florida, served as president of Tennessee State University from 1974 to 1985 and president of Florida A&M University from 1985 to 2001. Dr. Humphreys was Dr. James Ammon's mentor. He passed away on June 24th, 2021. Condolences also to the family of Dr. Mildred Robertson Smalley. Dr. Smalley was a resident of Baker, Louisiana, and was in the Department of Chemistry at Southern University from 1965 to 2000. From 1995 through 1999, she served as the Southern University Baton Rouge campus coordinator for the statewide Louisiana Alliance for Minority Participation program, and became Vice Chancellor for Research and Strategic Initiatives at Southern Baton Rouge in January of 2000, a position that she held into her retirement in 2007, at which time she attained the honor of Professor Emeritus of Chemistry. She passed away on June 24th, 2021. And finally, our condolences to the Mr. John Joseph Jojo White Jr. family. Mr. John Joseph White Jr. was a resident of New Orleans. He was skilled in much, but was a mechanic by trade and an avid bowler. He was the father of Ms. Jonquelle P. White, who was an employee in facility services for the Southern University Baton Rouge campus. He passed away on July 6, 2021. Mr. Vice Chair, this concludes our July 2021 resolution, sir.
Thank you.
May we add to
Dr.
that?
Tarver?
May we add to that a memorial to the family of former Governor Edwin Edwards?
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Tarver. That's one I was going to mention. Mr. Gillum.
I would like to also add a resolution to the family of Franklin Musgrove of Mendon, Louisiana, Webster Parish. He's a former business manager for the Shreveport campus.
Thank you, Mr. Gillum. Any others? Dr. Ellis?
Okay. I'd like to also add Mr. Larry McBride. He was one of our groundskeepers for over 10 years, passed away on June 3rd.
Thank you, Dr. Ellis. Any others? Seeing none, we'll move on to the informational items. Dr. McMeans, are we going to table our update to the next meeting?
No. Okay. Is it on now? Okay.
Dr. McMeans, give me 1 second. I'm sorry. Sometimes I forget things. I need folks to whisper to me. Can I have a motion? Go ahead. Any opposed? All in favor, say aye. Resolutions are carried. Dr. McMeans.
Yes, there will be a PowerPoint presentation by Dr. Jana Snowden on the update of the medical marijuana program. And as she's making her way up to the podium, I want to also thank Dr. Ronnie Whitfield, who was also working with us in our medical marijuana outreach and educational aspects of our program. So I wanted the board to make sure that and acknowledge that he is participating and supporting this endeavor. He's not using.
Good morning. Thank you all for another opportunity to present and update you on what's taking place with our medical marijuana project. We are making great progress with this program. So I want to let you guys know what's really going on with it. Yes. So next slide, but we'll start with the products. We currently have 15 approved products that are in the dispensaries around the state. Our 4 newest products are our meter dose inhalers, and we're expecting to bring our medibles, which are our gelatin-based chewables, online very soon. Next slide, please. Sir.
Sure. Mr. Lawson.
I'm just curious, Freedom, Super Sour Diesel,
Granddaddy Purple.
Granddaddy. That's letting you know, good products.
Okay. There's attention, I guess.
Yes, they are. So next slide, please. So as far as a part of our economic development and our workforce, we currently have 27 employees who are at Ilera right now. We have 4 who are going through the approval stages with Ag and Forestry. And we have a current opening for a food technician who will actually develop the medibles or be over the medibles production. Next slide, please. This is just a depiction of the dispensing report formulated by the Louisiana Board of Pharmacy, and that's a part of their prescription monitoring program. So they have to give us updates about what physicians are prescribing, what medication. So next slide, because I wanted to highlight like our patient count and prescribers, and specifically those from August of 2019 to date. And as you'll see, when we first started the program and when the first product was put on the market by Wellcanna, we had 1,864 patients in the program. We currently have 7,490 patients a part of this program. We started off with 51 physicians and currently have 197 physicians that are a part of the program. Also, I wanted you to make note from June of 2020 to June of 2021, that's when we actually put or launched our first product. So you'll see that there were 2,318 products that were dispensed, the prescriptions that were dispensed in June of 2020. It went up to 15,370. and the patient count from 1,876 to 7,490. Now, although it seems like we've made, a lot of progress, we have, we are growing the program, but we do need more people in this program for it to be a sustainable program for the state. Next slide, please. Previous. Okay, so this is just a picture of building B. And I still would like everyone to come out and tour the facility, especially now since we are fully approved and functioning out of this facility. But this is our growth facility, which we've termed building B. Next slide. This is just showing the interior before and also our flower rooms and vegetation rooms for this building. And we have several flower rooms. So we have the capacity to produce order of magnitude, once we bring flower on in, the spring, fall, well, not fall, I'm sorry, January 2022, that's when we'll bring flower to the market. Next slide. And I wanted to also provide you with the medical marijuana for pharmacies across the state, because we do have it listed on our website, but a lot of people still ask about it. So I wanted you to have that information so that you could pass it on to other individuals. Now, I want you to note that since the inception of this program and Southern University starting this program, we have generated $3.15 million towards this project. So I'm pleased about that. And that's a part of our contractual agreement. So once we do get the numbers up in the state, those numbers will increase, and we're looking forward to that. And in closing, I would definitely like to thank Alera Holistic Healthcare for a great partnership. I would like to thank Dr. Chancellor Orlando McMeans for his leadership, my legal counsel, because they definitely keep me in compliance. I'm gonna tell you the truth, because I do have some wild ideas sometimes. So they do keep me in compliance. And also, I would like to thank Dr. Calvin Walker for his input when it comes to this program, and all of you as well. That will conclude the report, and I'll take any questions at this time.
I've got a question. When you said you want more people in the program, what are you referencing, the number of patients?
So patients, we need more patients in the program, because although we're able to meet the demand, what you'll see across states is like those numbers are much higher. And we usually compare ourselves to Arkansas, and their numbers, although they're producing, they still are not really doing well with the numbers. And they're, I want to say that we're 1/10 of that number that they have. So we do need to increase the number of patients in this state to have a lucrative program.
But how does somebody submit themselves to the program? Is this something where they're doing it through their treating physician and getting the script?
So that is correct. So as of August 1st, 2020, the program was opened up to any individual who felt they needed medical marijuana. So it's no longer where you have to be under a specific debilitating condition or anything like that. Anyone can be on the program that wants to be on the program. And it ranges from anxiety to AIDS, so if you feel the need to be on the program, you can sign up. And just by letting your physician know, and if that physician does not, or is not a part of the program as a prescriber, there is information on the website, on the SU Ag Center website, where you can actually go and, get with a physician who can prescribe it for you.
Okay. Doctor.
One of the pushbacks or issues that we're having with medical marijuana is many of the physicians aren't educated on it. So patients are requesting and asking all the time. So I think what Southern will play a key role is, I'm not even sure Southern's LSU's board has a physician that's actively engaged, but we're trying to put out educational information so that the community can understand what's available, how it works, addictive potential, all of the dispel some of the myths about medical marijuana. So that's what we're going to play a key and strategic role. My vision and dream is for us to do an educational seminar on the campus for physicians across the state whether it be virtual or on the campus. So we can teach the physicians about it, because there's pushback from the physicians. There's a demand for it now. And with them increasing the delivery types, now we have the medibles and everything else, and probably pretty soon the leaf will be available. When you have the delivery types increase, the physicians are not willing to dispense or to recommend. They're not going to. You're not going to increase that patient volume. So that's the pushback has been on the physician side, not on the patient side. I think I'm correct.
That's correct. And what I failed to mention as well is that we are positioning ourselves for this the demand of the market. So we are hiring drivers who will actually be able to deliver these medicines to the pharmacies. So we're being proactive in our approach.
Are we moving to our individual satellite campuses to say that I can probably feel your numbers between New Orleans VA hospital and some of our pharmacies down in New Orleans? I'm just wondering to what degree we're reaching out to our individual campuses and saying, hey, maybe we do outreach through Sussler or Suno and say, hey, look, this is the product that we've got. Let's get these doctors involved.
Yes, and that's part of the plan that Dr. Whitfield is working with us on, you know, making sure that we are able to get this across and hold these seminars on these various land masses.
Okay. Any other questions from the board?
Quick question. I know you may not have the information right now, but I heard the gross revenue. I'd like to get maybe something that will give us the net revenue. I'm kind of curious about our expenses versus the profitability.
Yes.
I'm not gonna put you on the spot and ask you now if you did.
Okay.
And that's understandable that you may not have it right now.
Thank you.
The other question was tied into what our very informed colleague just said, Dr. Whitfield. Is there any prohibition or probability of putting maybe a mobile pharmacy out there? Because for instance, you have one in Alexandria, but there are a whole lot of folk in between Alexandria and the next location that may not be exposed and quite frankly, kind of place bound and would probably enjoy that service.
And
so is that a prohibition?
So right now we are not allowed to do that because we only have 9 licensed pharmacies in the state. Now, as that number and that's legislatively. So if those numbers continue to grow as far as the pharmacies that, you know, they can administer, where they can administer, then, you know, that would help us out greatly. But right now, you know, due to those legislative matters, we can't move on that.
Yeah, I noticed.
Yeah.
Not only for more, but also for more minority-owned dispensaries. Yeah. So there's been a big push as well as having Southern Knights involved in it as well. So it's some stuff moving, and some moving parts going on.
Mr. Hilliard had a question.
Yes. Okay. On the website, it's kind of tucked away under research. Is there any way we can call this? I mean, I like the part where you have program areas. So it's kind of an active program now. So, you know, it would be easier to find on the website if you just said like active programs or program areas. And then the last piece there where you said the list of the medical, the pharmacies, I can't find it at all.
You don't see that? Okay. I'll check with them, but we've had discussions as far as putting that, because a lot of people have come to us. I'm not going to say a lot, but a few people have come and said that they have to navigate. And so we're going to make it plain on the website where they're able to access that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? The last thing will be, will the edibles be ready for the board retreat?
We're working on them.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, now we'll move to our assistant president's report. Who's going first?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, members of the board, Mr. Vice Chair. I have nothing further to report at this particular time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now we'll move to our individual campus reports.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I know there will be other times that we will have opportunities to express our thanks and appreciation to Dr. Belton for his stellar leadership of this system, for the Southern University and A&M College system. But I thought I'd just have to pause and say to him how much I appreciate his leadership and his friendship. I came to the system a little over 3 years ago, and I came because I wanted to work with Dr. Belton. And I wanted to serve this system to the best that I could. And I want to express to him publicly my appreciation for the opportunity that he provided me to come and be a part of this great system. And I look forward to the year that we have ahead of us. As I told him in a conversation a couple of days ago, we still got another year and we still got a lot of important work to do. And I look forward to that. And again, I want to thank you for this opportunity. Sure. Thanks. I also want to report on the success of the DXC and the IBM partnerships that this system enjoys. We are now seeing great benefits from those partnerships. We are now seeing students from across this system and more recently at Southern University at New Orleans, not only receiving the instruction from our professors, but passing the rigorous exams like Amazon Web Services, one of the certifications that is in high demand all across the globe. And I just want to stop in and say how important those relationships are and how beneficial they are to making our students more competitive in this global marketplace. Also, too, a couple of months ago, we had a presentation on esports. And I want to report that Southern University at New Orleans is now putting on a summer tournament series in esports. We have our students, our faculty, our administration and staff, the entire community has embraced esports. And so just keep watch for the summer tournament series that is underway now. Also, too, I'm pleased to report that the Council on Social Work Education informed me 2 days ago that both the bachelor's and the master's of social work at SUNO have been reaffirmed. Their accreditation has been reaffirmed for the maximum 8 years, both programs. And I want to extend my congratulations to Dean Chason, the faculty, the staff, and students of the School of Social Work on the SUNO campus. The other thing that I want to say is that the Board of Regents is now in the process of they will decide on policy changes to how new degree programs are approved across the state. This new approach that we have been asked to make comments on, in my opinion, although I am seeking the input from our vice chancellors across the Southern University system, but this new process that will likely be approved, Dr. Tauber, is going to streamline that process. Right now, that process it includes several steps with the letter of intent. You may recall I came with the letter of intent. I came back with a full proposal. The proposals had to go out across the state. There is going to be a new approach, but what I really think is going to make a difference, and especially for the historically Black colleges and universities across this state, is that we will have the opportunity to develop a 3-year plan for new degree programs. So we'll be able to put a stake in the ground and say that these are our areas of expertise. These are the areas that we are going to pursue to develop new degree programs in. And I just want to encourage my colleagues, the chancellors and the vice chancellors for academic affairs across the system, the Southern University system, to take a look and provide feedback to me so that I can provide feedback to the Board of Regents. And then the last thing that I want to say is that on Monday, I will be meeting with Ochsner Health. As you know, the plan for all of our institutions is to come back face to face in the fall. I have expressed my concern to Ochsner about the surge in this Delta variant of COVID and the possible risk to our ability to bring our students and our faculty back to the campus in the fall. And I know that there are going to be conversations with health providers, with chancellors, with the president, with chancellors across the system. And I do want you to say that we take this very seriously. We are going to seek medical advice. We're going to do our part in terms of encouraging and even providing incentives for young people, especially to take the vaccines that have proven to be safe against COVID-19. But this is a concern, and I want you to know that we are taking it extremely seriously. And I'm certain that the president and the chancellors and myself will come back to the board on our plans for reopening our campuses to our students and our faculty in the fall. So, Mr. Chair, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Ammons. Chancellor Ellis.
Mr. Chairman, the board, Dr. Belton, and my colleagues, the Sussler Chancellor's report is included. I do want to acknowledge a couple of quick things. As part of our community efforts, we have broadened our STEM camps to the community students from K through 12. On today, and the reason I mentioned this as one of the camps is that today we have students from kindergarten to the 12th grade presenting final projects in areas such as artificial intelligence, robotics, coding, and digital design, which for those underserved communities is extremely important as we evolve in our economy. I also want to mention that we received another $50,000 from Home Federal Bank as part of our $2 billion campaign for the Roy Griggs School of Business, which has brought us up to, I believe, about $600,000 toward that goal. And finally, I do want to, again, acknowledge Dr. Belton for his leadership, his advisement of me. I as well spoke to him a couple of days ago and publicly told him that, his leadership for my style of leadership was just, very congruent. He advises, but he doesn't, tell me what to do. He presents things in a way that gives me an opportunity to think and to critically analyze situations. And I just appreciate that style of leadership. I also want to thank him because I had a monumental task of coming behind him at Sussler. And the success that I have had there undoubtedly could have been achieved without the foundation that he laid. And so I just want to publicly thank him for his leadership, his guidance, and the stellar institution that you left me in Sussler. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor Ellis. Dr. McMeans.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, President Belton, board members, and colleagues. Before I get into my report, I also want to echo the comments and sentiments to Dr. Belton. I must say I was a little bit disappointed. I've been here less than 2 years, but Dr. Belton is the 4th president that I've reported to. And I would just like to say, and instead of telling you all these great things and what he's meant to me personally and professionally, I just have one word for him, and that's class. And that's one of those things you can't teach. Either you have it or you don't. Uh, and the way he conducts himself, whether I live on a lake, and I see the ducks and geese, and somebody told me one time, they said, you know how much activity is going on below that water, but they're just gliding along. That's Dr. Belton to me, because I know what's happening behind the scenes. So so I want to thank Dr. Belton for his stellar leadership. And I really appreciate and value his mentorship. And like Chancellor Ellis, he'll make recommendations, but he'll get out your way and let you do what you're going to do. And if you fall, he's there to pick you up and help you along the way. So thank you, Dr. Belton. I look forward to this next year, and I know we have a lot of work to do.
I've never been described as a geese, but I'm a bar there.
Yes, as I get to my report, it's been a busy summer. July 1st, we held a convocation celebrating 20 years of the Southern University Ag Center. And Dr. Belton opened with remarks on this, and as well as Commissioner Strain. We will be preparing for a September the 24th in-person event, hopefully in person, and that will have students, faculty, staff, and alumni will be invited, and it'll be at our multi-purpose facility at our research station. On June 25th, I met with Congresswoman Julia Letlow in DC. So that was my first trip to the congressional buildings in about 2 years, I think. And we met and talked about the next farm bill that's coming up in 2023. And she wanted to know how she could help Southern University, even though we're not in her district, but she is on the Ag House Committee. And so we're looking forward to working with her and mostly in the area of 1890 facility improvements. On June 26th, we held a successful Small Farmer and Rancher Cattleman Field Day in Franklin. We had a pretty good turnout. One of the individuals that attended was USDA National Institute for Food and Agriculture Director, NIFA, Dr. Carrie Castile. And the reason I'm bringing up her name is that Dr. Castile is from Louisiana, and she is over the area that provides over 90% of our money, the Ag Center's money federally, so from USDA. And she visited that event, and consequently, I met with her last week, and she also wanted to know how she can assist us. And I think we have some people in some unique positions right now. I think Southern, especially with our ag program, is very well positioned. And speaking of that, some of you actually sent me this information. I think Chancellor Pierre sent it to me, as well as Dr. Merrick. On July 7th, Chairman David Scott and key co-sponsors introduced legislation to make the 1890 land grant African-American colleges and universities student scholarship program permanent. That's a very rarity to have a scholarship permanent. And he's also proposing to increase this by $100 million. Thus far, he's been very successful. It's moving right along. And a lot of this came out of some of the testimonials, and it's getting bipartisan support at this moment. So we hope that this happens. This year, Southern University, specifically for our ag students, we received $1 million in scholarship funding for just this year alone. So we're looking forward to that being a game changer as it relates to recruiting students in the food and agricultural sciences and other related disciplines. And lastly, on June 28th, Secretary Tom Vilsack, the USDA Secretary of Ag, announced that Randy Moore will serve as the 20th Chief of the United States Department of Agriculture Forest Service. Upon swearing in, Moore will serve as the first African-American to hold the role of Chief of the Forest Service in the 116-year history. Why am I telling you all that? Well, Mr. Moore earned his bachelor's degree in plant and soil science from Southern University, specifically our College of Ag. So So we've already had the meeting, and the question was where the money is, where the money at, and we'll be there. So we're looking forward to working with Chief Moore in the future, and I think in the upcoming meetings, I'll be able to share some good news as it relates to some of the resources that will be coming to Southern University Ag Center and College of Ag. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. McMeans. Professor.
Good morning. All right. It's great to see you sitting in that chair.
Good to see you sitting in your chair, sir.
I want to, first of all, thank Dr. Belton for his support of me as Chancellor of Southern University Law Center after he chose Dr. Ellis to be Chancellor of the Shreveport campus. He next chose me to be Chancellor of Southern University Law Center. And, you know, I said this to him, and I've said it to many people. He allows us to succeed or fail on our own merit because he allows us to set our vision. We talk to him about it. You know, he'll give us advice, but he never tries to make us do something that he would want us to do. He just listens and he sets the path and he asks, what can I do to help you achieve the goal? And the other thing that you've done, Dr. Belton, is, and I'm pretty sure you've done it to all the chancellors, but you specifically have charged us to spread the footprint of the Southern University system and Southern University Law Center. And to that, here are some of the things that you ought to know that you have set into motion. You have set into motion the possibility of there being a law school in Shreveport, because in spring of 2022, we will start our very first phase with the semester in Shreveport process, which again, you had the vision to say, we can do this and we will do it in the downtown Shreveport area. So that's something that among your accomplishments that you ought to take great pride in knowing that you set that in motion, okay? The second important thing is that today, with the help of the board and your recommendation, I have gotten an extension to my contract. So I'm greatly appreciative of the fact that you made the recommendation and the board believed enough in your recommendation to approve it. And I'm extremely, extremely grateful for that. But the things that the board does on a monthly basis, without much ado, are very, very important. So today, for example, you approved the creation of the Legal Analytics Institute. Well, the reason we have a Legal Analytics Institute is because Dr. Belton and Dr. Sahu presented an opportunity to me 2 years ago to engage with the Harvard Business School in a data analytics project that a lot of people didn't see that made a lot of sense for the law center to be engaged in, but I saw it, and they had the courage to come and engage me in it. And we had several students who graduated with a certificate in data analytics. And data analytics is one of the biggest tools in the, I think, what I would call the revolutionary movement in legal practice. Data analytics, artificial intelligence, okay, blockchain, all those things are very, very important. And because you had the vision to engage with IBM, we have the ability to do all those things and provide that to law students in a way that they can't imagine how beneficial that will be. The next thing is in terms of spreading that vision and that footprint is you have today, board and Dr. Belton, allowed us to spread that footprint in sub-Saharan Africa. You agreed to allow us to try something with the Charles Winborough program, provides certificate programs in sub-Saharan Africa asynchronously. And that is a huge step forward for Southern University system, and of course the Southern University Law Center. And we hope to bring more of these kind of opportunities to the board. And then you also allowed us to engage with Verizon, and Ms. LeMay is here. Actually, we have 3 law students that are interning with Verizon at very good rates of pay. Very good rates of pay. They call me and they tell me how much they really appreciate this opportunity to intern with Verizon. And again, that's opening up a door that had never been opened before. So the point is that we will continue to open doors. That's the critical thing. And as long as we work together as a system, we will continue to open doors. We had the pleasure of being with the FBI. Dr. Sahu was there with us in Huntsville, Alabama. And the FBI wants to engage the Southern University system. In fact, we have a meeting, I think in 2 weeks, right? With Dr. Ammons. The FBI is realizing the talent that's being produced out of the Southern University system. And lots of people are recognizing the talents, and the fact that they are patently aware now that we are truly, it's a fact, but they never understood what it meant. The only historically Black college and university system that provides education from K through 12 to PhD to professional degrees, which is something that is truly, truly significant. So again, I want to thank everybody for supporting the Southern University Law Center. I want to thank you, Dr. Belton, and I want to thank you for sending your kids. You had the confidence to send your kids to the Southern University Law Center, which to me is probably the biggest marker of your belief in what we do. So thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor Pierre. Mr. Gillum.
We don't usually ask for a point of clarification with the chancellor's reports, but in Chancellor Pierre's previous document, he mentioned, and you mentioned in your report, the data analytics program. And I should have asked for clarification at that time, but we were moving so fast during that governance committee. But you spoke in there, and I read it with a great deal of interest. You spoke in there in terms of what the ramifications of the data analytics program is going to be for the system as a whole, including the other campuses. Can you speak to that briefly? Now don't give me the lawyer version, give me the layman's version, the quick version, all right?
Sure. So data analytics is sort of the tool now that everyone in business, nursing, healthcare, you name it, everyone wants to be able to look at data to help decision making. And so the science of data analytics, data sciences has grown exponentially across all board. Agriculture, hospitality, if you name it, data analytics is a very important piece of it. And we have I think, premier opportunity with our partnership with IBM across the system to train our students, no matter what they major in, into the data analytics toolbox. And when they put that on their resume as either a micro credential, industry-based certification, it moves them up the line for opportunities. And an example of that is Verizon. I know you can tell us how important data analytics is for Verizon. And here's what these internships pay. These internships at a minimum pay $30 to $40 an hour. At a minimum. I have some students that are working with with companies like Google, NetApp, Apple, $60 an hour. Okay? So this is student pay. That's how important it is.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
And so just to add on to that, and Dr. Ammons could attest to this, as a part of the DXC grant, just to extend some of the trainings, I know we've been offering in several a Scrum Master certification, which, just like you said, it's all data sciences. When I first looked at it, like Scrum Master sounds like what? Right? But it's actually a background training that you're going into some of these technology courses with, and it's actually to bring in more data. So we're looking at, and I know the system has signed an AI agreement that's going to help us forecast here in the future. So I was very excited to see this. I know what they're doing at Suno to expand it as well. But I'm asking this question too, if Dr. McMeans can look into how bringing this into his program and possibly adding digital agronomy to the marijuana program and how it would help advance some of the students as well. So this is always good information that it shows that we're 10 steps ahead and not just waiting for it to happen. So I applaud you on this, Dr. Pierre.
Well, actually, we're a step ahead of you because you approved, you didn't recognize that, you approved the concept called LabSet in April, which is law, agriculture, arts, business, science, technology, engineering. And so we have that in place. We just now got to plug it in. We actually have it. In fact, I just sent you something on just the other day. We were just chatting about that the other day at University of Illinois, your alma mater.
And Tennessee, the University of Tennessee has a strong digital agronomy program that we could look at to bring over. And it has some DRA dollars that you may be able to tap into to get that program.
That's great.
Thank you. Thank you, Chancellor. Dr. Sahu?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, members of Board of Supervisors, and my President, Chancellor, Dr. Belton. I want to begin by expressing the appreciation and gratitude of the entire faculty, students, staff, administrators at Southern University Baton Rouge campus to you, Dr. Belton, for your leadership and how you have guided us and your contribution over the years and the successes we have achieved. So thank you. I was just confirmed last board meeting. So when Dr. Belton shared the news, I was a little shaken. Obviously I'm his deputy, and the things that we had shared, I was shaken. But then knowing him and what matters to him, he assured me that we have one more year, to work directly, but that he would support everything that we are trying to do in terms of bringing the focus on student success, to make things happen at this university and to get the right recognition for being the only system that just Chancellor Pierre just mentioned and what it means, to have this, designation and distinction. So with that, I want to have the opportunity to highlight a few things. The Chancellor's report is in your packet, but I would like to highlight a few things, which is really important in terms of being an institution and being a system. That SUBR library tells more stories of former slaves. The John B. Cade Library, Archives and Manuscripts Department, headed by University archivist Angela Proctor, has now completed the digitization of the slave narrative collection. This includes oral first-person narrative of about 50 former slaves, and some of them are, 4 of them, 2 to 4 of them are more than 100 years old, and most of them are above 85 years. This is a treasure trove unless we take the initiative to digitize and preserve. A part of our history will be lost. And I think you'll applaud the initiative by the library to preserve this rich portion of our history. And this news, the story was picked up by the AP Wire and has now appeared in several major publications and news outlets, including US News and World Report and the LA Sentinel. And I think this is going to spur a lot of research and will get attention to Southern University Library and our digitization initiative, which is much deserved. I also would like to highlight something that the College of Business is providing, which is a very unique entrepreneurship economic development initiative, which is providing 8 sessions, very comprehensive in terms of how to start, how to manage, how to grow your business. And it is being done in person and also hybrid. That means we are able to reach businesses or budding entrepreneurs here locally, at our state, but also nationally and if necessary globally in terms of our outreach to spur entrepreneurship. And that's the future. I also would like to highlight the teacher quality report that was released, and Southern University A&M College's undergraduate elementary teacher preparation program was recognized as being among the 33 out of 1,184 traditional programs to receive an A in clinical practice. In your report, you'll also see the accomplishments of many faculty in the College of Humanities and Interdisciplinary Studies, but I just want to recognize that, inform that the Poet Laureate of Louisiana is from our faculty, and Professor of English, Professor John W. Smith, just recently released the 5th collection of poetry. Southern University A&M College is among the 14 HBCUs that will travel on Boeing spacecraft in NASA mission. So that also is our ongoing partnership relationship, both in terms of research, in terms of consulting, in terms of partnership in manufacturing, and in some critical areas that will involve our faculty and our students is ongoing with NASA. We have an artificial intelligence startup, Lelena Health Solutions, that is partnering with us, which also is going to advance our footprint and help promote the Southern University brand. These are the things I wanted to highlight. I want to end by saying that in the next year, I'm going to very purposefully work with Dr. Belton to cement his legacy by working towards and hopefully make a presentation to you in a month or two about our goal to be nationally Carnegie classified research university. And I think I'm going to work with Dr. Belton, get his guidance and support, and work with the faculty to provide you a plan as to how within the next 3 years we will be a Carnegie classified research to university. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sahu.
Yes, sir.
We're doing Mr. McClellan. Okay. Is there any other business? Seeing none, can I get a motion to adjourn? Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, Dr. Davis?
I have this on? Yes. It's on? Yes. I just want to say to Dr. Belton that it's really been a great pleasure working with you as president of the university. I worked under 5 presidents here and 4 presidents at another institution as a faculty member and administrator. And I want to say that you are a class act. And you still got a lot of years work, a lot of years left, and there would be other opportunities coming for you. But I appreciate you announcing it a year ahead of time. I don't know of any HBCU in recent years that had somebody announce they're leaving a year ahead of time. A year's a long time. I think I've heard a lot of presidential speeches in the last half hour. I think I've read some presidential speeches, and I know it's just beginning. And also, I just got the announcement from WBRZ. They have it They have it now. And I've gotten questions for the last 2 weeks about your possible retirement. I said, no, no, no. From now on, I'm going to start listening to the grapevine because it's there. But I do want to say to Mrs. Belton, you've been a class act too. Appreciate you inviting me and my wife to your home and treating us real nice. And but I do want to say, Dr. Belton, when you do leave a year from now, get ready because you're not going to be retired because the honey-do list is going to get longer and longer. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Any other comments? Can I get a motion to adjourn? We are adjourned.